plans, that they have figured out ways to play around it. And I expect them to go back to their game 1 plan, now they're on red side, and ban out Aatrox as well as Urgot.
That should be the key factor for another at least good game and possible victory for Supermassive. Syndra will be the first to take that out of the hands of Candy. And they do hit Zeitnot with that Varus again, trying to hit him early and quick with some bans in phase 1. Supermassive now 20 seconds left as they have 2 more for themselves. There is the Urgot.
Should see the Aatrox to follow then. Expecting that certainly. And Fabulous may go right back to the Scion if it is not banned out here by GRX. We'll see how much of an issue they felt it was in game number 1, as they did ban it away in game number 2 on the red side.
Ooh, that's a good ban right there. Snowflower, no matter what, was on 2 to 3 people with each grand entrance and still was finding a way out. As we said in game 1, the full screen initiations was very big for helping out GBM in that mid lane. So we get no more play from Rakan, or, as we were expecting, that Aatrox on the ban list.
Yeah, Snowflower's Rakan has honestly been exceptional, so taking that away really could change things up here for GRX. I think going back to the Kai'Sa has been really, really big for both teams in their victories. Stitch having a strong game 2 on it, and Zeitnot obviously completely taking over in game number 1 on the pick, so makes a lot of sense. They could go back to the Xayah here, but will not be able to actually combo that with the Rakan. Alistar is open though, and looks like it will be the choice here, as that had been on the ban list.
I like that as well. That is a big grab for Koala, so to take that away from him, Snowflower will feel good doubly in that pick. Now one for Stomage. Will he decide to pick up the AD, as they don't have to right away? They can see a little bit more of the map between Empty and Candy's picks.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Skarner. That was kind of the game 1 pick there. Being able to grab up that early jungle would not be too surprising. Olaf, another good option here.
And on the ban list,
a little bit more early game power. They are going to go with the Gragas though, so kind of just tabbing through a few of their options. Gragas certainly does have a lot of early game power, a lot of skirmishing and kind of power on those early ganks with the Body Slam Flash, as well as post level 6 with that explosive cask. We did see that in game 1, Empty played it well. In game 2, they banned it away, so they really are trying to keep it out of the hands of this GRX jungler.
Ooh, Morgana lock-in.
I like it.
I like it a lot as well. Haven't seen too much of that towards the bot lane this event. And we are going to have Koala on something different as Candy locks in their pick. This was an Aatrox, not this pick in general, but Candy playing the Aatrox mid for a flex with the Urgot. Aurelia has been on the ban list, and they decide to lock that in right away against Cheshire Supermassive.
Okay, so the blind pick, Aurelia. This could be a Lucian mid to answer here from GBM. It also could be Zeitnot taking it in the bottom lane. We don't yet know. It is a flex pick.
He did have a Lucian.
The Morgana, though, really is a strong answer, I think, to both the engage from the Gragas as well as that of the Alistar. Gives a lot of protection there to the Kai'Sa. Also almost guarantees that you will have the push and the 2v2 advantage, because you can simply drop a pool right in the middle of those minions and really help to get that wave pushing your way.
It's nice with the Cathian Ray. You walk up, back line, back lines, quick push. It will be difficult. Lucian not the worst farmer, but like you said, that could be GBM's. He's starting to break out of his utility box a bit. We did see that Ahri last game. We'll see if he tries to go for the Lucian. Second phase of ban shows us a Skarner towards Empty and LeBlanc, as it looks like Stomage now, with not a level 6 jungler that he has to be forced to, can be a little bit more aggressive early, and maybe that's what they're pushing Empty onto here.
Yeah, it could be interesting to see where Empty goes. Nocturne is available. Olaf still is up as well, so it's not as though he's pushed too far down.
Exactly.
Certainly very powerful picks remaining. Trundle also an option. Galio taken away, the LeBlanc taken away, so they are certainly expecting this to be a Zeitnot Lucian, and it very well may be.
Yeah.
You could still be saving that last pick here for GBM, but there is always the possibility of the flex.
15 seconds plus another set of picks for Koala to run that clock down as they hover a jungler now for Empty. Definitely wants to be able to make some impact plays on the Rift. We've seen quite a set from him. Skarner, Gragas, Nocturne, and it's gonna be the Zac lock-in. Empty bringing in the new pick.
Yeah, bringing in the Zac. Potentially gonna get a Lissandra here as well. Could be Losandra go up top against the Ornn. Could be Aurelia flexed up there. There's a lot of options here for GRX. Certainly expecting it to be top lane if it does get that lock. Cho'Gath, another preferential matchup, tank versus tank into the Ornn. Could be a good one for them there. I do think one of the kind of issues that this does present, though, is you are fairly magic damage heavy on the side of GRX. We may see Kai'Sa go for more of a pure AD build to actually kind of make up for that, where some more physical damage. Obviously, you do have the Aurelia, but Aurelia is generally not a big threat to the tanks, right? So if we don't have Kai'Sa going for an AD build and going AP instead, things could get mixed up, but it's going to be GBM likely here with Akali.
Really?
Lucian going to the bottom lane. This is going to be an explosive mid lane. Akali versus Aurelia.
So he brought it out twice in the regular season. That is GBM on the Akali. Candy on that Aurelia. 5 plays for him, so they both know what they're doing, but this is explosive in the mid lane from these two. And we're looking at a team, either team that needs to get ahead quite early. There is lack of wave clear everywhere for these guys. Whoever gets the lead is just going to push everything right into your face and back to your base.
Yeah, it's a really good call out. I mean, especially on the side of Supermassive. I mean, both sides really do not have a lot of wave clear. Supermassive kind of screams engage with their composition. Gragas, Ornn, Alistar, but likewise on the other side, you have the Zac, you have the Cho'Gath, they have some engage of their own and some follow-up. This is going to be a very interesting one, though. I really do feel like Supermassive kind of has to snowball this. It doesn't feel like they have enough of a late-game composition to really fight evenly in an even gold 5v5 against Kai'Sa with a black shield with multiple frontliners. So I think they have to play aggressive. There's going to be a lot of onus on their jungler, on Stomage, to be aggressive on this Gragas, get his lanes ahead so that this Lucian, so that this Akali can be playing from an advantage.
Awesome. Heading into game 3, 1-1 now between Supermassive and GRX. Who will take the momentum coming here into game 3? I got to ask you, Zale. We're seeing the Zac now. We've seen a lot of the jungle matchups coming in. How do we expect this to play out? What should we be seeing Zac doing and Stomage down the Gragas doing this game to start off?
So I'm really expecting Zac to just be looking to get those early levels. Zac's early ganks are pretty weak until you get a couple points into your elastic slingshot. So generally speaking, Zac is just trying to avoid the enemy jungler and just get levels, just get farm. And then once you have, level 5, 3 points in your E, you can really start to look for those ganks. As far as the side of Stomage, you have kind of one of 2 options. You can try to get in the face of the Zac and take camps away from them, or you can try to just out-pressure them. While he's farming, you're getting kills. And both of them have their own kind of risks and rewards, because if you go for those ganks and you fail, while Zac is farming up, you're going to be significantly behind in the experience and kind of weaker in the team fights.
We did see in that first game, GBM was able to push mid. We have a bit of a different matchup, but Stomage was in the face of Empty on this bot side of the jungle quite often, quite early, as we saw rotations from Koala. We have to remember, it was such an active early game from GRX last time. With PK winning, Empty was all over that mid lane along with Koala. So we'll see if they try to factor into that play style again, even though Empty has the bit of a slower jungle. I'm excited about this mid lane, though, as we sit on it for now. Corrupting Potions versus that Doran's and Pots here for GBM against Candy.
I mean, it's double Ignite, it's double melee. Like, these guys are going to have to fight.
Electrocute Conqueror. Aurelia wants to stay in that fight. GBM wants to be in, hit, and out, but I don't know if he's going to be allowed to. I cannot wait to see what happens. Help on the top side, Fabulous and Stomage start red, and we'll get a little blue help here from Empty, actually on his Wolves as he goes up. Doesn't need help from PK, as Zac's pretty good jungler.
Yeah, definitely is. Has a lot of AoE, so you see some pretty cool stuff here with the Zac. A lot of people do like to start Wolves, and then they actually go blue. And as the blue's getting low, they'll pull it over to the Gromp, and they can kind of smack them together and AoE the two a little bit to be able to kind of increase the clear speed on those 2 camps.
Quick push here, as we said, the Tormented Soil would go down in the back line. Level 2 push for Stitch and Koala so they can get aggression in the lane. Ignite from both of those supports as well. Ignite, win lane, win game. That's how it plays out, as always. As Empty's finally finishing the Gromp here, you can see the clear speed actually of Stomage coming around for vision, and just to make sure nothing's going to happen top side as he gets scuttled.
But the Zac is 1 camp ahead. He did actually the 3 camps on that side already, utilizing some pretty smart tactics there to be able to clear that out fairly quickly. And in this Akali versus Aurelia matchup, it'll be fairly interesting. A lot of people like to talk about the strength of the Akali into melee champions simply because it's so easy for Akali to challenge you and harass you with this Shroud as you're trying to go up in CS. And you can see that GBM is doing that back and forth, trying to get hits in onto Candy and trying to kind of weather him down, just chip away at him until he can get him to a point where you could potentially look for a kill. And usually for Akali, that doesn't come until 6.
This allows you to get in. Assassin's Mark, in and out. It's such a nuisance as well. So we'll see if Candy can kind of keep his mental in check as GBM plays that Shroud game around him.
And you can see Stomage as well, kind of making a first trip already over towards that mid lane. Does get spotted on a ward, but wanted to see if there was an opportunity for an early gank. If you can snowball one of those types of matchups, Ignite versus Ignite, melee versus melee, it can be big.
Nice pressure onto Stitch. Not going to force a flash out, I don't believe. Stomage is here, and they're going to pay this one patiently. They want Stitch to commit back into the fight again. Looks like Snowflower and Zeitnot have pulled off a little too much, and they're thinking maybe this is a gank. So everything's safe in the bot lane. No summoners blown, but still, Stomage already looking for stuff on the map to get GRX and the team going.
But he's been really shut down by this River ward that I believe was actually dropped by Koala. And that ward did spot his movement over towards mid lane and spotted his movement down towards bottom lane. So that has really kind of shut down what he has been trying to do. And this is what I talked about, the risk versus reward. When you are spending time ganking, Zach is spending time farming. Zach is done his clear. He is already, basically full cleared, and he's going to be heading back to base. Yes, GRX had scuttle control, and that is very good, but if you're a Zach and you can say, all right, if we could both be level 5, even on farm, even on kills, no kills apiece, you're going to be feeling really good as the Zach.
And he has Wolves to come out and clear again, so he doesn't have to waste any time in continuing that experience gain. And he lets his team know, I'm going to be down on this side of the map. Make sure you play careful or hover to that side if you need defense. Candy in and out. GBM quickly obscures within his Shroud, and they go pretty even on CS to start, but then that starts to be a bit of a discrepancy, 38 to 26 now.
Yeah, and that's partially because of that kind of harassment style that I was talking about. Anytime Aurelia looks forward and the Shroud is available, you can stand in that Shroud. There's very little opportunity for the Aurelia to actually return that fire and kind of fight back. So Akali just gets to harass you, and you can't afford to take too much of that, so you often just end up having to give up farm. But this is actually a pretty big deal. If this was a TP versus TP mid lane, you wouldn't care as much, but because you forced Candy back to base and you got to push in the wave, not only does he miss all that farm as he's running back to lane, it also means the wave will stack and push towards GBM, which will just further increase his CS advantage.
Gonna feel good when he gets back to lane. Refillable potions, a little bit of vision for himself as well as he starts up his revolver.
Yeah.
Fabulous, 37 to 31, doing pretty well for himself in this orange. We have another tank matchup on this top side. PK forced off to that Shogath this game, so we'll see if he can have the same impact he's been having. Empty clears Grump. We should be able to head towards the other side of the map now. We might see a little more jungler intervention as Stomage side of the map is cleared.
And FT looking for a little something here around mid lane. The Shroud has been used aggressively, so he could actually look for the elastic slingshot.
Doesn't look like he's going to want it.
Yeah, there's actually, you can see the pings, the missing pings on bottom lane. They know Snowflower could be there, and when Candy is not 6, GBM is. If this gets counter-ganked, it's pretty tragic. So what is happening here is they're actually trying to help him push out the wave. Because as I talked about, see the ranged minions stacking up here? That means so many minions are going to be denied from Candy as it pushes towards his opponent. So over comes the jungler and tries to help push it out. But while he's doing that, Stomage is counter-jungling him, and GBM is actually developing a pretty significant advantage. That's also showing itself as long as the experience goes because of those denied minions as well. Candy was back in base.
So the pressure for Candy is not as much from Empty this game, not as much from Koala. They've been stuck to the bot lane, and we're seeing Supermassive almost read those plays and do them first.
Yeah.
Time to be on the forefoot there, or the front foot, I should say, to stop GRX in their movement.
And Supermassive does have some of those advantages. I mean, in the 1v1, Akali's advantage early, certainly. GRX is stronger than that Zach early on, right? So they're kind of making good on those advantages. But that being said, Zach is soon going to be level 6, which is going to feel really good there. And Zach, as he does hit that level 6 in another camp or two, will be able to start getting a little bit more active.
Give me a dank gank lane. Where does Zach go at 6?
I think Zach can go middle. if GBM is using the Shroud offensively, Akali is a target you can actually go for. If Zach hits an Elastic Slingshot or Aurelia hits the stun, you can combo those into each other and really look to play aggressive. You also can look up in that top lane. Fabulous certainly is a target, as Cho'Gath, if he has his Feast available, can offer quite a bit.
Oh! A rude awakening as they go for blue. That's stolen by Stomage. Nicely done. And they take that away from Candy, being able to use that for farm resource in mid. Stitch with the Black Shield. Nice fast fingers by Koala to keep him safe from Snowflower as they trade back heavily in an advantage.
Yeah, and you can see how tough that matchup can be. If you get Black Shielded out, the return damage there onto the Alistar is pretty brutal, and everyone hitting level 6 now, so certainly fireworks are available. They're going in.
Black Shield's a longer cooldown than a headbutt Pulverize. Soul Shackles goes down. They get a nice stun onto Zeitnot. Will he be able to come back with the damage? Flashing forward, Stitch gets the heal, and it's going to be the kill for Koala. They look to lock down Snowflower, and they will shrivel him up. No, Koala is going to back off. It looks like they'll be able to get him. He just doesn't want to give the kill to Empty. Where is good guy Stitch on this one? Come back and get the kill, bro. Wow, that is a broman. They give it over to Empty. Nicely done by GRX.
You just call that a broman?
It is a broman.
That's incredible. I'm going to have to add that one to my repertoire. But nice 2v2 outplay there from GRX. And you called it. The Black Shield is a longer cooldown, but only slightly so, because Koala is actually maxing it in this matchup. So he already has 3 points in it, which is such a smart adjustment. And I think that Snowflower and Zeitnot may have been caught off guard by the fact that the Black Shield was actually back up
was there
for that re-engage. So he was able to actually stop a lot of that incoming damage.
See it here again, just at the edge.
Yep, so here it is. They go for the engage. I do think that they believe the Black Shield to still be down, but 3 points in it. He is able to immune some of that.
Yeah, he did.
And then Stitch has the heal as well, so they have the extra combat summoner. Flashes forward, pops the heal. It's teleport on Lucian. The additional combat summoner, as well as the 3 points in that Black Shield, are enough for GRX to get that 2v2 kill. And I talked about how the Lucian and how Supermassive have to get early advantages.
Oh, the Black Shield, self-shield to get out. He does have to flash, so Supermassive is taking a lot of aggression inside the jungle of GRX. Empty, a big guy just hiding on the side of this one. He's going to try to jump in. A beautiful explosive class by Stomage to stop the Elastic Slingshot, and everything from GRX is being muddled now in an initiation they thought they had from their jungler. Dodged out Snowflower, actually Koala just on the side, misses that. A nice Pulverize to stop the Elastic Slingshot, and now Empty's in a sore spot. Teleports are stopped from that top lane engage, and back and forth leaves everyone up.
Yeah, despite the 2 for 0, you can see Supermassive still is up in gold, largely because of Stomage and all the counter jungling he's done. He's been getting basically every scuttle, he's been stealing away buffs, and he has been having a strong early game despite the fact that he hasn't been able to get involved in any kills. So Supermassive, by no means are they out of it just yet, but they need these sorts of early advantages. They need to snowball, and GBM also massively ahead in farm in that mid lane. So those guys are playing well and looking for the dive now, perhaps.
GBM in and out of the Shroud. He did take a bit of turret aggro first. Candy very low. There's the second dash in. GBM doesn't have much more damage, and he goes down to Candy. Candy will not fall.
The 1v2
kill around the map, and Candy comes up huge on Stomage. The double kill in mid.
Oh man, that is such a tilter. The 1v2 from Candy, who went down like 30 CS in that 1v1. Bot lane dying at the same time. GRX take full control over the game.
You thought it would at least be the retribution kill on Candy. Get something back for losing all of that, but no way, Jose. Let's see it again in your Acer Predator replay.
Yeah, here it is one more time. GBM starting it off. Candy, though, using the ultimate to get the Q reset, flashes out, using that W for the damage reduction on the second hit of the R there, and that looks like a canceled auto attack from Stomage. He canceled his last auto there, and the pop-off from the GRX coach. He is pumped up, and meanwhile, in the bottom lane, the carnage continues.
Black Shield entrance, Zeitnot's gonna be rooted up in place, abducted back as well. That's Ace. Oh, that's the replay from bottom. It still deserved a call.
Yeah, it was a hype gank there from the Zach, as Empty getting involved here. Has 4 points.
This is hype. Let's go, more fights.
Now that is a disastrous turn of events, though, for Supermassive, as there goes all your advantage in the mid lane.
5-0. GRX looking like they are on the brink of death each time, but come back. Striking Fists of Fury. And now they have about a 1.3K gold lead. Stitch able to farm it up in the bot lane. Now 1-0 and 2. I don't know how this guy keeps himself safe in these situations, but they have actually been able to put down the Zeitnot Snowflower lane for once during laning phase now.
Yeah, putting them down when they're playing that early game comp. Candy now with the red buff, feeling pretty strong, got himself 2 kills and looking to take advantage in this mid lane. GVM still wants to make things happen, and StoneMage going to be going for this Infernal. He does still have a farm advantage, but really, that's about it. And I think this may just end up being a leash for GRX.
I think you're right. StoneMage is so pressured on doing it. Soul Shackles immediately on the bot lane. A little bit of a Dark Binding wide, and they'll still be going for Baron, or Dragon rather. That's Infernal going over to StoneMage, but now he's in a pretty sore fight as GVM gets into this one. Throws out the kunai, and now he's going to be dealing the damage. First kill to Empty. Candy's stunned. Candy's down by the hands of Zeitnot, and Supermassive once again suffocates GRX.
Double shutdown there for Zeitnot as well. He gets a shutdown on Empty and on Candy. And they will get this kill on Koala here eventually. StoneMage able to steal away that Infernal as well. That was huge.
Just a little tappy. And he gets the kill. Supermassive throughout this series. The fights they're able to close down on. This one giving them 3 kills, but they come back so fast being able to see the fight for what it is. And here we have it again.
Here it is one more time. StoneMage using that plant to get in, try to go straight for the Infernal. He uses the barrel plus smite combo here, takes it away. Really nicely done. Then the stop much buys time as in comes GBM, in comes Snowflower, and then Zeitnot on the backside. You can see Stitch diving forward onto Zeitnot, but his team is losing the fight, so Snowflower just knocks him out, and Zeitnot is able to get a double shutdown there. The 2 kills, really big for Lucian. May put him in a position where he can have a chance to kind of snowball this game.
I was just saying, they kind of cut that lane down. It is not long before these AD carries start picking up triple quadrupentas in this series right now.
That's a lot of kills.
Oh, it is. We've seen Zeitnot do it already. 6-3, 15 minutes in, and the gold just back to even. That scoreboard 1-1 with 0 turrets down here as one of these teams trying to push for that 3rd game momentum win here and try to get off to the right foot. Infernal Drake is in the favor of Supermassive there, as we saw, so you can start off hoping that, or knowing that middle game is going to give him a bit more damage.
Yeah, definitely going to be nice having that in the bag. It does kind of help to even out some of the little scaling discrepancies that there are, as you know, Kaisa certainly stronger late game, you would say, than Lucian, and Cho'Gath generally a very strong team fighter in the late game. Zac very strong as well. But there's a tremendous amount of playmaking here also on the side of Supermassive with Alistar, with Gragas, and
oh boy,
we'll see if they can find those engages, because scaling can mean very little if you find that perfect fight. If you catch the Kaisa and blow her up right at the start of the fight.
I don't know if we'll be leaving laning phase anytime soon today. It's a pretty long one.
No rush 30.
There's not a lot of damage on the no rush 30. I love it. Keep it all in base. No real damage on the turrets just yet. A bit hit up on Supermassive's bottom side turret here. And now pressure on the bot side from Empty, but GVM is also following as if they want to get a gank in. StoneMage has the inner line on Candy, so they're kind of trying to walk everybody around, catch somebody in rotation, just to make sure they have the upper hand for the next play, the next little bit of vision.
Yeah, they really are trying to remain proactive. You know, StoneMage, GVM, they obviously did fail that 2v1 dive mid lane,
yes,
but they know the way to win the game is to never stop trying. You have to continuously be aggressive, and you need to constantly look for those plays. Find one big one, it could result in a lot. You could see that StoneMage was over there by the Rift Herald, but spotted out by PK, so the top lane has been very quiet and sitting pretty even, so you know, things pretty even up there, but so much action has been around this bottom lane and mid lane.
So with Mountain Drake coming up next, do you feel like anything needs to happen for either team at this point?
Yeah, I feel like on the side of Supermassive, again, they can't really afford to be giving up too much. I think they need to be able to pick their moments and look for fights, as Zeitnot is kind of trying to fight back on that turret, because you have Lucian, you have this Akali. As they complete their first, second items, that is some of the strongest points in the game for these guys. So they need to look to fight around that and fight well around their ultimates. So don't want to see them just giving up objectives left and right.
Well, as I say, we have a very long laning phase. It looks to be broken soon here if they get the chance. Infernal Drake may keep them down here for a little bit longer before we do get that swap. As GBM and Stomage continue, they don't really roam as a pack, but if one starts to make a move, GBM's kind of on a string and he'll follow Stomage just ever so slightly to make sure the play goes in their favor. Bot lane aggression from 3 members of Supermassive as they get a push into mid lane, and they have pretty good aggression on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, definitely pretty good in that regard. You can see a lot of members here from GRX actually heading up towards the top side. They want to make the lane swap happen.
Yep.
Perhaps going to go for the Rift Herald at the same time as well. Zeitnot is facing, so I think they're going to actually send their bot lane top and try to match this, but GRX is first on the play, got the bottom lane turret down, so they will be able to get the Rift Herald and the bottom lane turret, and certainly coming out of this looking good.
Interesting move. I say the pressure on bot for Supermassive because they warded up, and they say, oh yeah, we should probably go top side. They're going to have to move all those wards to the other side of the map. It'll help Fat Fabulous when he gets down there, but they need a lot of that vision up here now towards that 20-minute mark on the map.
Yeah, and that's the concern of just Fat Fabulous not being able to hold on in the 1v2 against Morgana and against that Kai'Sa. Worried that they're going to be giving up more turrets and more of an advantage over to GRX. So they do kind of give up that pressure on the bottom side and the potential of trading back a turret to try to play this more defensively. But it looks like GRX is actually just going to go perhaps lane swap once again. As Kai'Sa is heading down towards bottom lane, so
they're going to
Dragon
push mid possibly, and then Dragon, mid pressure and all of the bottom side of the map. The push out from PK is already coming. Fat Fabulous is on that top side still, so it's going to be a bit before he can get to a wave, but it'll be nice and big for him to clean up on the bot side of the map.
Yeah, and I think this is pretty well orchestrated by GRX. Here comes the engage.
Flawless duet on the GBM. Candies everywhere, trying to give him 2 and 3 things to think about. Oh my god! Koala gets absolutely obliterated by the cast, but they return the kill onto Stomage and bite back immediately. What a quick 1-2 from each team.
Yeah, trade for kills, but Lucian is on the top side. It's a 4v3 in mid lane, and the Rift Herald is available for GRX. They're looking for more.
Huge bot lanes pushing in their favor as well as they yo-yo this back and forth. They found GBM a bit. He gets out of the shroud and now they can see him. Fat Fabulous is trying to be a tank on the front with Snowflower. He goes down. Unbreakable Will is there, but they will burn through it. It doesn't even matter. No, Snowflower lives. And it's Fat Fabulous that goes down as the sacrificial lamb. A nice dive in from Stitch will solidify that kill on Alistar, and mid turret will fall as GRX uses Rift Herald and takes down Supermassive.
Yeah, they get so much there. Zeitnot was just continuing to split, and they decided to try to hold on 3v4, but there's no real damage left in the squad that was there. So GRX just pushes forward, dives them, takes 2 turrets, takes the kills. They will take the dragon, and they are certainly in full control of this game.
Stomage trying to do what he can to get in or get anybody on the way out. Candy gets hit, a little bit of damage there from GBM. How much does he want this fight? As he will be stopped by the Flawless Duet and Dark Binding. Everybody backs off for a quick breather moment. Mountain to Rift, or I'm sorry, Mountain to Infernal as we see this mid fight again.
Yeah, GBM, they are going to be looking for this pick over on the Morgana. It was a really nice cast, honestly, there from Stomage. Knocks him back in, they delete him, but then Stomage goes down himself. And again, this is a 3-man squad with a lot of consistent damage left in, and GBM has no ultimate. He's not really going to be able to zero anyone out, so they say, all right, let's go for it. Zach is going to be able to look for the dive in. The turret goes down. GBM is hanging around, and it's just way too dangerous of a play from GBM, perhaps thinking the turret was going to last a lot longer than it did.
It's that we've been defending it for so long, we can't let it go down without a fight. But he throws the shroud right there. Obviously, they're going to walk through it. These things on the kind of that edge mentality when you're making a choice and it's not working out for you is happening for Supermassive in small moments. Here for Snowflower, another one not working out. Ultimate Zeitnot just missing onto that one, and Snowflower may be able to walk out of this one alive. Stitch won't have the final say on this one. Stitch is gonna go down right away, and they lose Snowflower on the fight anyways. Here comes the Ornhorn, knocking up the team on the way through. His Candy can't get himself into a good spot. Stomage lives with a sliver of health as PK comes through with a quick chomp down onto Zeitnot.
Yeah, GRX will get back out. It is 2 for 2 in the extended play. Stomage just barely getting out. Explosive fight there. Looked like Supermassive might have been able to take the advantage at the start of the play, but with PK coming in, things got pretty rough there for Supermassive. This Kai'Sa, though, just getting so strong. Already has the 2 items completed. Likely building towards a Banshee's Veil next, and that's going to make it even harder to really get onto this guy. Banshee's Veil, if that is the option, plus Black Shield makes it so difficult. Here's the engage. Pretty heavy force, honestly, from GRX.
They want the
elastic slingshot, uses the ultimate, but that misses as well. So Supermassive looks for the fight. And Zeitnot does a good amount of damage here, flashing forward, actually taking down Stitch. They do take down Snowflower as well, and they're looking for the continued fight, but PK, knowing that Lucian has no flash, hits him with the knockup, chomps him down, and again, that's really the end of the fight, because Akali without ultimate and no Lucian on this squad means no real consistent damage and not much of a chance of getting those continued kills.
And it feels bad, too, if GBM can't get an execution on that kill. You're kind of left just swinging your comma in the air after that happens. So he's got to be able to choose that right target, use that 2.5 seconds in his shroud accordingly to make sure he can actually execute one final target. The culling comes out in the mid lane, doesn't deter GRX, and Koala definitely needed assistance from his team before he got shredded down.
Yeah, that binding almost touches Zeitnot. That was really close to him being in trouble.
Candy looking all right. He should be able to knock it out of this one as he gets put right to the back of the fight. The front line is still the tankiest for Supermassive here, and they can put it into the damage area. PK gets himself into a real sore spot as he goes down, and Supermassive says thank you very much for 2 kills.
Really nice fight from them, but they're going to head straight to the Baron, actually. Empty is still alive, but he's low on health. We'll see if Supermassive can do this. I don't think that GRX is going to want to give it up, but Koala is low, Empty is low, and Snowflower has Hextech Flash. He's going to look for a flank if they go forward.
Just on the left side, they can see him. Gets the binding. This will deter them from fighting, but they know putting everything into Snowflower hasn't really worked for them just yet. Snowflower says, well, you have no choice. Dark binding just misses over the left shoulder of every member of Supermassive, and Stitch is unthreaded.
They take down Stitch, but they peeled off the Baron to do it, and you have to think they might have been able to stick on the Baron. Use Snowflower to peel. Instead, they do peel and get 1 kill, but GRX will be happy to give up 1 more kill to actually keep the Baron on the map. So Supermassive, perhaps thinking they could have got more from that fight. Here it is one more time. It's a strong engage over onto Candy, and Candy just dives forward, thinking perhaps he can trade back a kill. He certainly cannot, though. And then watch GBM zoning out a lot of members here, and then as Stitch goes down, ult over to GBM to try to take him out. GBM just goes right back over the wall, so completely outplaying Stitch in that moment.
Knowing and playing in the mind of your opponent almost. Seeing that they'll want to flash, they'll want to queue and step forward. GBM doing that very well to be on the right side of the play. Flashes up for him, but he uses the ultimate to get to safety. So many little bits of utility Akali can use to be a slippery magician, along with that shroud that'll make you pull your hair out. We're coming up on 25 minutes now as we reset a little bit and take stock of what's been happening in the game. GRX very much can taking control over a lot of that early portion of the game. Kind of seeing Empty, Stitch, Candy making plays around the map until Supermassive now finding these fights. These are the fights that they win. GBM pulls aggression. You see Stomage come in. You see a few other members, but not this time. The story's written for GRX. The kill comes through. 1 going in for Stitch is now the fight. 3 knock up over onto Stomage, Snowflower, and Zeitnot as he is the focus. Fabulous giving him great defense and peel as Zeitnot can trigger back into the fight. They have lost GBM. That's a lot of damage down for Supermassive, and they are forced to turn from the fight as GRX once again finds the fight they need for Baron.
Yeah, they're going to commit to this Baron. No chance of stopping it for Zeitnot and Fabulous. GRX are going to take a huge lead in this game with the Baron secured. And that binding from Koala was game-changing. Predicts where GBM is going to go. Nails the binding. They get the picks, and Supermassive just getting peeled apart.
And the thing that works in those fights is, I was just saying, I'm made to eat crow after it. But if that binding misses, GBM has just spent how much time corralling 3 people towards the top side. Supermassive has an idea of where everyone is, and those are the fights Supermassive was winning. But like you said, huge binding by Koala.
Yeah, and it did look like GBM was honestly going to be able to just waste all their time.
Right.
He dodges the elastic slingshot. He's harassing them back and forth. The TB's coming in, you're like, all right. But look at that. Predicting the dash from GBM. GBM goes right into the binding. That was so big. And Koala, look at his health. He would have gone down for sure to GBM. And then Zeitnot trying to get back, and the peel was good from Fabulous onto Candy, but the Sterix is more than enough to keep him alive, and Stitch is untouched on the Kaisa. It's so hard to fight into this composition that GRX has if you cannot get a great engage from Supermassive, and they need to be fighting those fights on their own terms. They need to be the ones starting off with the engages, and they have not been able to do it. The one fight they got that really went heavily in their way, they did commit to the Baron. They peeled off for a kill on Stitch, and that may have been their big opportunity.
Pushing towards bot side, Candy bringing up the wave ever so slowly. Forcing the ultimate out of Snowflower immediately. Everything going in favor of GRX right now as they slowly take down the turrets with little to no pressure from Supermassive.
Yeah, not much to do there from Supermassive. You talked about it in Champ Select, Riv, and there's not a lot of really good wave clear here on Supermassive's side. You know, GBM doesn't have very strong wave clear. Lucian is certainly not a marksman that has incredible wave clear, so really their way to stop the siege is to engage, but it's very hard to engage into Cho'Gath and Zac and this Kaisa that is so strong and is going to have a Black Shield.
And that Black Shield has not been missing too often. Koala with the very fast fingers all game long. Got to be good. You're always holding on, right? Koalas are always holding on. They have good strength.
Drop bears.
Good hand control. Well, he's dropping shields all over his team right now, and it has been huge for the impact plays they need to make to shut down Supermassive, a team that is ready to fight at any moment in the game. And Snowflower definitely fanned out on this Rakan, is having a bit more trouble finding the initiations that has put Supermassive in the lead in this series. Top turret's now going to be pressured by GRX as they start to suffocate Vision off the map and push Supermassive into their base.
Yeah, it's getting tough for Supermassive. As you said, they're getting choked out on Vision. They're getting pushed up on all these waves, and GRX moving up to the top side here. They can see that Fabulous is answering the waves on the bottom side, so they're pretty confident to step forward and take this turret. You can see even the potential flank being set up here as GRX had Supermassive step to the turret, would have dove.
You know, it's funny, we talked about the lack of wave clear on each team, but even when you get the minions to the turret, we then talked about the engage for each team. So you can't really be that close to each other for too long without a fight starting. Both teams know it at this point, and this is the League of Legends I absolutely love. 14-9 as we keep it pretty bloody on the Rift. 30 minutes in here, but a heck of a $6,000 gold lead coming into the favor of GRX here as they're swinging money bags around to take down Supermassive.
Yeah, it's going to take a really good engage for Supermassive, I think, to really have much of a chance of coming back. It needs to be something from Snowmage or from Snowflower, likely out of Vision, so that there's not a chance for Koala to react to it. If you can get onto Stitch and kill him right at the start of the fight, I think you have a chance, certainly. But barring that, I don't think there's much of a shot of winning a straight-up team fight.
No, not anymore. Especially after you saw GBM get captured on the top side. Kind of escalated the power GRX was working with a little too much. Here now, they implement the Supermassive attack and wait for somebody to walk up mid lane and grab him.
And you can see Candy, the way he's building is very much to dive towards Zeitnot and buy time. He doesn't even have to kill Zeitnot. You have a GA, you have a Sterix, you just run at the Lucian has to run away. Exactly, and during all that chaos, while the Lucian is trying to survive and everyone's trying to peel for him, well, you have a Kaisa that is on 4 items that is free firing, that is taking down all of your frontliners, and when that happens, the fight is generally over.
And also by that time, your backline is probably all disarmed because you're walking through Aurelia's ultimate. Thank you. Oh man, they have a lot to deal with, but that's what makes it even better if Supermassive can orchestrate themselves perfectly around this fight from GRX from so far behind.
And we have seen teams lose in this very series from these sorts of advantages.
Absolutely.
I mean, Supermassive had a monumental advantage in game number 2. They looked poised to actually close it out, but one mistake can turn the game around. So you want to see that patience from GRX. You want to see them closing this game out calmly, controlling vision, waiting for the next Baron, take the Baron, and then look to close out the game. And if you don't check those boxes and you rush it a little bit too fast, you lose a Baron, you lose a team fight, the game can just end.
Cross the T's, dot the I's, check the boxes, kill the Barons, make sure you get the 50 gold from the Nexus, take it to the bank. 1 minute on Baron once again, 30 seconds onto Mountain Drake. That'll be the last Mountain Drake of the game that we will get. And Drake overall is Elders will be next. But who will be able to get that? A lot of that structure damage would be huge this late in the game. The final fight could mean the Nexus.
Yeah, it really could. I mean, honestly, we saw that happen in the previous game. You get, a 30, 40-minute team fight win with waves pushing, the game just ends, right? There's not actually time to respawn, whether your base has been cracked before that or not. You see the Infinity Edge coming through now for Zeitnot, so he is going towards much more of a late game kind of scaling build. He is not doing something like a Ma and QSS. He's building 4 damage. He knows that there's a lot of pressure on him to be able to put out that DPS, and this isn't as safe of a build as some of the others, but he needs to be able to maximize damage and have a chance of actually threatening the front line, because otherwise there's no one else to kill Cho'Gath, there's no one else to kill Zac.
All right, doing a little fight tracking here. Definitely eyes on Empty to see him diving in. Snowflower for the crowd control as Koala also keeps eyes on him with the black shield. Candy's up on the top side, looking to get in the fight as the Horn comes out. Empty tries to jump in right away to deny the fight. In goes Snowflower for the double hit on the backside. Snip goes on the side. GBM's very low off Killer Instinct right away. Fabulous tries to get out of the fight. PK zones 2 off, just behind the inhibitor. Supermassive now trying to look at the fight and see how they can get back in. And 1, it's Candy. They gulp him up, and now it's the rest of the members in the eyes of Supermassive. It does not hit, and no flip forward from GBM to re-hit that E and get the team back into the fight.
Still a really strong fight there. They're actually pinging over towards the Baron. They want to see if they can turn this into a big win. They got 1 kill, but here's GRX.
Stomage going very low, has to use the Zanyas at that point. What a hit from Empty! Knocking up 3 members of Supermassive, and a Supermassive hit! Big stuff from GRX is Fabulous. Starts to trade back with a little bit of damage on that Ornn. Empty in now, takes down Zeitnot by himself in mid lane as Fabulous next to go down. PK takes him out. Stomage forced to run, and GRX is gonna have some time with Supermassive's base.
Empty just completely shut down that fight from Supermassive.
What a huge elastic slingshot.
Looked like they could have won it. It looked like they could have taken this fight. The Black Shield was very good there from Koala, keeping them safe, and Stitch able to get out of range. But look at that re-engage from Empty, catching everyone. Barely surviving here. Then the Binding sneaks through everyone and catches Zeitnot. He dashes out. Looks like he could survive, but no. Empty gets in on top, hits him with the elastic slingshot, takes down the marksman, and finishes any hope for Supermassive in that team fight. But we're back to live, and they are on the Baron.
Koala trying to defend. Soul Shackle onto Stomage to keep the smite out. Beautifully done by him, but there's going to be enough time. They can't focus on the whole time. Flash and Zanya's down there, but they've bought Stomage's eyes, and they have bought everything they need to grab Baron. Nicely done by Koala to 2v1.
Yeah, Koala just completely buying time there. Stomage chases after him, using even the body slam, so no way to get over the wall, no way to try to challenge for that Baron. And even had Koala gone down, that's well worth the price. Instead, he stays alive. GRX take the Baron, nearly 10K ahead. They are looking very, very good as the item completions are coming through.
The
full
upgrade
build on
item
Stitch.
completions.
They're looking so strong.
You have Ornn on your team at this point. Infinity Edge upgrade for Zeitnot. I love it as these guys are able to push a little bit further, which also says, hey, I can keep some more wards in here. You know, that slot doesn't have to be a recipe item, so I'm a denial of vision for the team. Doing a great job of keeping the pink wards on the map from the marksman position.
And theoretically, if Supermassive can hang around long enough in this game, if it does not end, or it gives you another like half item, basically, with that upgrade. So can matter in the late game, but we are very far away from that.
Oh yeah, now. Oh yeah. Shirelius Reverie onto Koala as well. Love this item as it's come back in. And you can continuously fly towards the team, get your initiations there. GRX setting up on the right side. Supermassive wants to take PK down. How long can he live? It's a big Cho'Gath, but he's going to go down eventually, and it's going to be pressure now from Super Massive to come in onto GRX. How long do they stay, and do they overstay their welcome? Koala and Empty are going to be on the left side. Teleport coming in on the top to get that Fabulous back in before the rest of the team. That's actually going to be Zeitnot in with the culling first. Nexus is already going down. There's no chance to stop it. GRX through the front door says thank you very much, and they take game 3.
Super Massive take the Cho'Gath, but GRX take the game as they just run straight down bot lane there, finishing it out and putting themselves at match point.
Quickly making a decision at the end, said we've had enough. Let's just put PK mid lane. He can take the team and will take the game. It's not the greatest way to do it in the end, but it could not be. Back to the turret, back with the minion wave, the 5v5.